Humans and orcs have been at odds for millennia in the Middle-earth region. Durotan, Toby Kebbell, is the Frostwolf Orc clan's chieftain, and he wants to escape the life of combat because he and his wife Draka, Anna Galvin, are expecting their first child. The Horde is formed by the Orc clans. Because their homeland, Draenor, is on the verge of destruction, the malevolent Orc warlock Gul'dan, Daniel Wu, intends to lead the Horde into the realm of Azeroth. Gul'dan employs Fel, a dark kind of magic derived from death. He has seized and brought to the gate scores of Draenei prisoners in cages. Garona, Paula Patton, a half-human/half-orc, is locked up and passes past some prisoners who ask her to free them, despite the fact that she is powerless to do it. Gul'dan opens the gateway to Azeroth after draining the Draenei of their life energy. The orcs charge through, but Draka keeps her pregnant tummy hidden. Draka feels anguish when they arrive. The other orcs realize he is pregnant and chastise Durotan for allowing her to pass through in such a state. She starts giving delivery. Gul'dan comes to the rescue, and Draka gives birth to a stillborn orc child. Gul'dan imbues the boy with the life power of a nearby deer. He introduces Durotan's son as a fresh warrior to the Horde. Commander Anduin Lothar, Travis Fimmel, is meeting with King Magni Bronzebeard, Michael Adamthwaite, who presents Lothar with a boomstick and iron forge. After an attack on a garrison, Lothar is summoned to the realm of Stormwind. Lothar visits Stormwind and meets Khadgar, Ben Schnetzer, a wizard who was caught investigating the bodies. They discover the body of one man, who is spewing green smoke from his mouth, indicating that he was killed by fell magic. King Lane Wren, Dominic Cooper, meets Lothar and Khadgar. They are dispatched to Karazhan to speak with the Guardian Medivh, Ben Foster. Lothar and Khadgar discover Medivh creating a massive clay golem. While Lothar is explaining the problem to Medivh, Khadgar wanders through the library and notices a dark shadowy creature lurking. The figure's power lures Khadgar to a specific book. As he attempts to pick it up, Medivh appears and uses his power to pin Khadgar against the wall before dropping him. Medivh joins Lothar and Khadgar on a scouting mission into the forest to examine fell magic. They are ambushed by a swarm of orcs, who pound the humans, though Lothar manages to kill a good number of them. Medivh casts a spell that kills the green-skinned orcs, but it has no effect on Durotan, his buddy Orgrim Doomhammer, Rob Kazan Sky, or the warlord Blackhand, Clancy Brown. Lothar shoots off Blackhand's hand with his boomstick as he goes to attack Lothar. The last orcs flee. Durotan, still chained, rides a horse past Garona. He strikes an axe at her chain, freeing her. Khadgar, on the other hand, holds her down with his power, and she is taken by the humans. Garona is taken to the fortress of Lane. She reveals that her homeworld does not appear on the map of Azeroth, and that the orc army is approaching. She is then imprisoned, but Lane's wife/Lothar's sister Queen Teria, Ruth Nega, provides her with food and comfort. Garona believes that killing Teria will bring honor to the orcs, but Teria claims that there will be no honor among her people. Gul'dan confronts Blackhand, accusing him of being weak for fleeing the humans and allowing his soldiers to die. Gul'dan attempts to execute Blackhand, but Durotan intervenes, stating that Medivh was controlling the Fel against them, despite Gul'dan's insistence that only he can control the Fel. Durotan and Orgrim sat together, watching the orc camps. Durotan believes that Gul'dan's sorcery is what caused Draenor's deterioration, and that if he continues, Azeroth would suffer the same fate. Durotan want to stop Gul'dan, but Orgrim believes they must remain loyal to their people. Lane agrees to release Garona on the condition that she remain faithful to Stormwind. She leads Lane, Lothar, and others under Lane's authority to a meeting with the Frostwolf clan, including Lothar's son Callan, Berkeley Duffield. Teria offers Garona a tiny dagger in order for her to defend herself. The orcs and humans agree to a truce in order to assassinate Gul'dan. Durotan speaks up, with Garona translating for Lane and Lothar. They are then ambushed by green orcs loyal to Gul'dan, as well as Blackhand and his ilk. The malevolent orcs, along with Durotan and his clan, fight against the humans. Medivh constructs a barrier between humanity and orcs, but Callan remains outside. Lothar is unable to break through the barrier or draw Callan in. Blackhand impales Callan and tosses his body towards his father, using his new claw hand. Medivh deteriorates. He is returned to his house and placed in his mana pool. Khadgar notices Medivh's eyes glowing green, indicating that he has been corrupted with fell magic. Khadgar also learns from the book he obtained from Medivh's library that Gul'dan may have had assistance in opening the gateway from someone in Azeroth. Khadgar departs to seek assistance, while Medivh returns Garona to Stormwind. Lothar is found in a room by Garona, intoxicated and mourning Callan's death. She rushes to his side to console him. Lothar claims he no longer has faith in Medivh. Orgrim speaks with Gul'dan, who is aware that Durotan has chosen to side with the Horde, resulting in his captivity while Blackhand eliminates the Frostwolf clan. Gul'dan offers Orgrim the opportunity to absorb fell magic and become a stronger orc. Khadgar takes a griffin above the skies to Dalaran. He meets with the other senior mages, all of whom are angry at Khadgar for abandoning them so long ago. He informs the mages that fell magic is spreading throughout Azeroth and that Medivh has become corrupted. Aladi, Glenn Close, an older guardian and the shadowy figure from Medivh's library, is brought to meet Khadgar. She went out of her way to find Khadgar and summon him. According to Aladi, Medivh has been fighting a demonic entity for some time and has since succumbed to it, enabling himself to be corrupted by the Fell. Moros, Callum Keith Rennie, assists Medivh into his pool. The pool glows green from the Fell's power. Moro's life power is absorbed by Medivh, who begins to mutate into an orc-like beast. Lane convenes a conference to rally people to fight alongside the Alliance against the Horde. Lothar is opposed to the proposal and believes that the gateway should be destroyed to prevent additional orcs from infiltrating Azeroth. Medivh, in human form, teleports to the meeting, irritating Lothar when he mentions Callan. Lane has Lothar placed in a cell to calm down. Orgrim realizes his mistake and quietly releases Draka and their kid, called Goel by Durotan. Orgrim then sets out to rescue Durotan. While still unhappy with his friend, Durotan forgives him after learning that he let Draka and Goel to flee. Lane and his troops prepare to fight. After transforming a guard into a sheep, Khadgar returns and frees Lothar from his cell. Khadgar then begins to use his powers to devise a strategy to combat Medivh. Draka transports Goel to a river, where she places him in a basket and transports him to safety. As Goel floats away safely, another orc appears. Draka uses her fangs to pull out the orc's throat, but she is fatally impaled. Durotan challenges Gul'dan to a fight in front of the Horde. Durotan appears to have the upper hand over Gul'dan until the warlock uses his magic to drain Durotan of his life force, much to the chagrin of the other orcs. Gul'dan eventually kills Durotan, causing the remaining orcs to flee. Gul'dan kills the green orcs who flee, compelling the others to remain by his side. He then waits for Medivh to begin opening the gateway, while Gul'dan maintains it with the life power of other prisoners. As the orcs begin to invade, Lane and his army, now joined by Garona, begin to combat them. Meanwhile, Lothar and Khadgar attempt to combat Medivh, but he summons his clay golem, which attacks the two. Lothar decapitates the golem, but its body remains sentient. Khadgar casts a spell that causes the golem to fall on top of Medivh and transform to stone. Khadgar exorcises the demon from Medivh, restoring him to normalcy, but he perishes beneath the golem. Medivh switches the portal from Azeroth to Stormwind with his final breaths, freeing some of the prisoners. Lothar mounts his griffin into combat. Recognizing that they are unlikely to succeed, Lane orders Garona to kill him so that the orcs and humans can live in peace. It would also help her to gain honor among the horde. Garona plunges her knife into Lane's neck with reluctance before Blackhand can strike. Garona is cheered on by the orcs, who transport her to Gul'dan, who welcomes her into the horde. Lothar arrives and finds Lane dead with Garona's knife still in his neck. He attempts to take Lane's body, but the orcs drag the griffin down as he attempts to flee. Lothar is then forced to fight Blackhand, who has become more strong with fell magic. Lothar impales Blackhand in retaliation for Callan's death with 2 fast moves. The orcs respect Lothar, but Gul'dan wants them to kill him. He tries to do it himself, but Garona warns him that if he doesn't, he'll be compelled to fight the other orcs. Lothar is then left to remove Lane's body. Lothar is left alone in his room till Khadgar arrives. He discovers Garona's knife, which Lothar pulled from Lane's neck, leading Lothar to suspect that Garona tricked Lane on purpose. Lane's funeral is held in front of the entire kingdom. Teria pays tribute to her husband and has Lothar stand in front of everyone, as he will now lead the alliance. Everyone comes out in support of him. Goel is still drifting down the river in the final shot. Durotan's voice is heard, announcing that his son will become the new leader of the orcs, maybe bringing peace to the orcs. When a guy lifts up Goel's basket, the baby growls,